Hello, and welcome to B Data Lit's The Career Download. This is our second episode, and I'm super excited about this. We have Kate Brown with us coming from the Northeast, Boston, I believe.
Correct. Yep.
Cold
Quincy, Massachusetts, the city of
Quincy.
presidents.
Is it really?
John Adams and John Quincy Adams. Yeah.
That makes so much more sense, and I feel
Yeah.
foolish for not even knowing that right now. All right. So since this is just something quick, let's get into this, Kate. Let's get some details
All
going
right,
for
let's
people.
go.
All right. First, I already told them your name. I feel like that was a spoiler already. Um, how old are you, Kate?
I am 51 years old. I turned 51 in December. So Neil and I are the same age. Neil was the last episode.
I was just thinking, I'm
Yep.
interviewing a very specific age group at this point. All right. So you live in Quincy right now, but are you from there originally?
No, I grew up on Cape Cod. So not far, about an hour south of where I am right now.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about your home life, family, pets, anything you want to share
Sure.
there?
Yeah, my husband and we've lived in this house for a while, over 20 years, and we have a 3-year-old Shar Pei. Anyone who knows anything about Shar Peis is they tend to be quiet. This one is barkity bark bark barks, which is why I have the headset on so you won't hear her.
What is her name?
Her name is Shetty, which is short for Shetty Camp, which is a town in Cape Breton, where our favorite golf course is.
I was thinking machete, so I'm really glad you told
No.
me.
Yes, yes. And I could be pronouncing it wrong, but we always knew it as Shetty Camp as the town in Cape Breton. So
Excellent. What hobbies do you have?
golf, golf, and golf. I also love to travel. I read a lot and yoga.
Excellent. What would you say, based off your hobbies, your priorities, and your career, which we'll get into? What are some of the main priorities that are driving your life right now?
So definitely trying to balance out craziness in work with non craziness in outside of work. I also have some family obligations, not my immediate family, that do take up some of my time. But I love it. You know, I get to spend time with my siblings and my mom and help them out when I can.
Excellent. So let's find out more about your career now. Let's go to the very beginning. I like to start post high school. Did you
Okay.
go straight to college
I
or?
did.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. I went to a small college in North Andover, Massachusetts called Merrimack, and I was a history major. There were 5 of us that I graduated with. So my year there were 5 history majors. And when I graduated, I was history and education as a minor. And then I did some student teaching and I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. And at that point in time, it was kind of like if you went into education or history, it was like you either taught or you went to law school, or there were, kind of limited things that you would do with that. So I bounced around in a couple of jobs after that. My first job was working at a company called the Boston Company, where I settled trades. And this was pre computer. So what's interesting is I had a computer early on when I was a child. My father thought it was important for us to learn it. So all throughout high school, I always had a computer. At college, when I started in 1990, I had a Mac and I worked in the computer lab at Merrimack. I was a history major working in the computer lab. I couldn't help out any of the people using the PC stuff, but anyone who had a Mac, I was like, sure, what do you need to know? And then I started at the Boston Company, and I was basically comparing printouts of this is the trade order we sent, this is what we got back. Do they match up? And if they didn't, then there's a whole process that we had to go through to kind of reconcile trades. And I have bizarre kind of first job. I got it because I knew someone who worked there. and they got me in. So absolutely no business experience, none of that. But I worked there. I left there and I did customer service work at an insurance company. I did a brief stint in California. And then when I came back from California, a friend of mine who was also a fellow history major that I graduated with was working at a company and got me a job there where I actually provisioned telephone lines.
You've had some really interesting jobs. I was just
Yeah.
thinking though that your comparison of trades and you had to do it manually,
Hmm.
how different that would be today if you would have had
Everything would
technology to
be
help.
done. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything would be done, and all you get were the ones that didn't match, right? Yeah, it was crazy. You'd get these big printouts and sit with your ruler and highlight, and yeah.
I really want to get you and Neil in a room together and we can just talk about that stuff now because just he talks so much about like the pre-computer era and everything too.
Yeah, it
Um,
was interesting listening to him too because it was really pre-computer era, but I had so much computer experience. It was weird for me to go into a job and not have a computer. So it was really interesting. You know, they came in towards the end of my couple of years there. We got one, but then after that, everything obviously became very computer based.
so
Um,
let's fast forward a little bit
mhm.
now to what you do currently. Can you tell us a bit about your current role?
Sure. So my title is Manager of Business Support and Analytics. And I think, like anyone in the data space knows, titles vary so much depending upon the company and even within the company. And I have worked with data for the bulk of my career at the company I'm with now. It's getting close to 20 years that I've been working with data, which is kind of hard for me to believe. Um, but now I'll do anything from write SSIS packages to create Tableau dashboards to doing ad hoc analysis work. I do things from everything that I do is really operational based. So I'm embedded in an operations group. So we do performance reporting, transaction, trending, identifying areas for opportunity. This organization didn't have as much data as other groups that I've worked with. So it's really been kind of building foundational from the bottom up, building data marts, getting that ready to go. And then once you have that, then layering on top of that, dashboards and analytics.
How did you end up making that leap from when your career wasn't really data oriented and maybe technology wasn't really available? I mean, specifically, Tableau was something, it's only been around for what, 21 years now? Um, so, data as a whole, technologies haven't really existed. How did you end up moving into that space?
So I was doing customer service work at the company I work for now, which is a large telecommunications company in the United States. And it was back when local home phone service became deregulated. So pre like cell phones everywhere. And they started offering phone service. And I answered repair calls in the call center, and we used a ticketing system, which was an early version of Remedy, if anyone knows what that is. And I figured out how to pull data out of there because I was like, I've always been interested in solving problems and identifying trends and working on that. And so, because I figured out how to do this, and I would be like, no, we have a problem with this. I basically, there was a job that was posted, and this person said, I want you to apply for this analyst position. I'm like, I have no idea what it is, but I'm all in. And I did it because this woman was just an amazing, fantastic leader. So I got my first data job not knowing how to use Excel, which would never happen today.
No, you were so
Right.
spot on with that.
So I think for me, I benefited from that it was so early on and that they took it more of, they saw potential in me and I took initiative to do something, but I didn't know how to use Excel. And then I had a coworker who knew how to use it, who taught me how to use it, and then another coworker who started teaching me SQL. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. And I've been using Tableau for about 8 years. But I've been writing sequel for probably 19, which is also hard to believe.
It's been around a long time.
Yes. Yep.
Let's go back to your early career now that we have an understanding a bit of the linearity of it. When you graduated from college with your history degree, what was your expectation for where your career would go? Obviously, you said student teaching didn't work out, but did you have an
Yeah.
idea?
No, I didn't. I really didn't. I think I think I kind of wanted the teaching thing to work. There was a period of time where I was like, oh, I should go get my master's in education and kind of give this another try. But then I fell into that job and then it just kind of snowballed from there. But no, I think it was really hard because I didn't like, what do you do with a history degree if you don't go to law school or you don't teach? Um, and so I think I also benefited at the time that, it was a slightly different work environment. It wasn't as stressful of an interview process. It was like, oh, this person. So basically you're going to get the job, which I don't think happens much anymore. I really don't know what I would have done if I didn't fall into this. Part of me was like, do I just move back to the Cape and waitress? I think a lot of it was luck.
Did you get any advice from anyone at that point that
I think,
was
yeah.
helpful or not helpful?
So I think a couple of pieces of advice is it's not necessarily what you know, but who you know was something that was presented to me early on in life. And then, you have to, once you get the opportunity, you have to prove that you know it. But, sometimes just knowing someone will get you in the door. Um, the piece of advice that I got one piece of advice from someone that I worked with in that first job. So it was a very formal company. Everyone showed up in suits. I was poor. Like, I mean, I could barely afford rent. I wasn't making much money, let alone being able to go out and buy a bunch of suits. So I had a couple of suits, but I had some nice dresses that, I would dress up. And this person, I came in a dress one day and they said, casual dress leads to casual thought. And I was like, wow. I'm like, I don't ever want to work in this type of environment. Like, get me out of here. like, it was, I think that set me on the path of like, okay, this type of industry, financial services, banking, not for me. And then I went into an insurance company, more in that customer service world. And that was a little bit more lax. But it was really, it's funny that all of these years that like still sticks in my head.
Man, it makes me think of one of my first jobs in the 90s. I had to wear pantyhose, and I am
Mm.
so glad those rules are gone.
It was like and heels and
Mhm.
accessories and everything. Yeah. Yeah. It's
Casual
funny.
dress leads to casual thoughts. I would that. Wow.
Yeah. I could go on and on about the whole attack of comfort later on. We'll have to do another episode on that. But yeah, it was really interesting.
So let's go back to some of those details that I asked you in the beginning about your life priorities. How does your career align to your life priorities today?
It's interesting. So I am at what I consider the tail end of my career. I would like to retire in 8 years. That's my plan. And it's part of me is trying to figure out like how do I transition into what I want to do next. Part of that's identifying what that is. And I think I'm starting to kind of figure out what that is. I want to be less on the technical side, more on the side of, I spent so much of the first half of my career absorbing and learning and doing and getting to this point where I feel like that sort of intelligence has now peaked for me. I'm trying to learn R now. I don't have much interest in coding, and I don't know that my brain works that way anymore. And I see like that sort of intelligence coming this way, but the synthesis of everything that I've learned and kind of the hard skills and the experience, I want to kind of pair that together and kind of not be like, oh, I know everything, I'm going to tell you everything, but really start to work with people who are earlier in their career, not to, tell them that you're not going to experience this, but kind of give them a little bit of guidance and insight into, here's some of the things that you're going to encounter that you don't know because you haven't experienced it yet. And not this is how to fix it, but here are things of like how you can develop that skill set to respond to this. And this is how you can take this situation and apply it here. I was talking to my husband about it, and he's like, you want the doctor that knows, has the latest technology, knows everything. And I'm like, yeah, but I want the doctor who's seen a lot, who knows when I come in with these weird complaints, yeah, I've seen that. And here's, what I think it is. So it's kind of like that synthesis of, all the hard skills, you've got that, you've done all that experience, but those intangibles that you learn just by experience and exposure. And kind of how do you pass that on, not in a preachy way, but more in a supportive, like, here are some things that you're going to want to think about way.
Well, let's pretend it's current you and you're talking to early career you, doing
Mm-hmm.
exactly what you were just talking about. What advice would you give yourself way back when you first started?
I would say have a little bit more confidence in yourself about your ability to learn and do this. I think, even though I've been doing this for so long, I think because I came in from a liberal arts experience and exposure and education, and that's the way that I think, I didn't always feel like I belonged in the data space. But there are still times where I'm like, yeah, I don't know that, am I doing this the right way? And a lot of self-taught people, I think, have that kind of thing that kind of hangs out there. And I would say own that, but I would also say don't settle and don't sell yourself short because I think that there were definitely times where that held me back from some opportunities that may have changed the trajectory of my career. So kind of get out of your own way. I think is what I would go back and say.
I love that. I think that's a great note to end on too, because it sounds like you're not just talking to early you, but talking to everyone who's out
Yeah.
there listening as well.
Yep. Yeah. Get out
All
of
right.
your own way.
Get out of your own way. And I think that's a great way to end our discussion today, Kate. Anything else you'd like to share with our listeners before we
No, I
head on
think
out?
that's it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here today, and thank you for our subscribers. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to our channel, and check out bdatalit.com. Take care.